Right then, so this is the third, probably fourth time I'm trying to make a good introduction and a video that makes sense, so hopefully this video won't act to bits too much. But anyway, following on from the video about the directors and why me and Scott have got the guys involved with helping, this video is talking about what we should be busy doing at this moment in time, but due to various reasons which they'll be scrolling on the screen now, I suppose a timeline, why it's taking so long for us to even get to where we're busy as such. I think we have been busy up to now, but not as busy as we should be. So why is it taking so long? As you can see, the council's held things up. The drainage department's been a real sort of thorn in our side as far as progress. The people are sound there, but just don't get back to you very quickly. I don't know why. The initial trying to purchase the land were painful. That took pretty much, if you look at the timeline, 2 years to get to that point. And then the drainage stuff's holding things up as we speak now. So there's that many people involved just with the purchase of the land. So the government department that's split into 3 different departments now. There were the council, the estate agent, the council solicitor. There's just so many people. It was ridiculous, really. But that's sorted now. And I suppose the rest of this video is going to sort of try and highlight why getting an industrial unit, commercial unit, whatever you want to call it, why they're so difficult. They're not rare, but small to medium-sized units for a starter business are in short supply. We get emails all the time from the council and estate agents asking if we've got them, because we've got the units at the back, and obviously they're in short supply. So if all you're interested in is cars and all you're interested in is what we do day to day, then turn this off now. You'll just have to accept that I'm not in every video anymore. But if you're not going to get upset when we're talking about sums of money that are way bigger than they should be, then carry on watching and you'll see why my airline's going backwards. Hopefully this video's not been attacked too much. We'll see. Adam's better at editing than I am at talking, so we shall see. So, as you can see, we're just in a field. This is phase 3 of our property company's development as such. So, phase 1 was the building where Darkside resides and the dyno and the fab shop. So there's sort of 4, 5 if you consider the dyno separate unit. There's 5 units there that we operate out of. And then at the back, where the distribution is, there's phase 2 of the units, which is distribution, body shop, gigs in there as well, and then a few units that we rent out. So phase 1 and 2 there, that's all contained in one site. But where we are now is where originally Darkside was going to be. So we're like smack in between my house and Darkside, so 10 minutes away from work, South Kirby, next to another big bypass. So the site that we're on here now, when we originally were going to buy the land at Grimethorpe, this were up for sale as well. Not this exact bit, but this whole entire industrial estate. But then the council sort of took it off the market, built the bypass, used this as the sort of base. We've probably got some pictures of what that was. But this was like where all the containers and everything was when they were building the bypass. It's just sort of behind the camera now. And then it all came back up for sale, and then this is the last real part that they're selling, or they've sold. Yeah, we've ended up buying it, and it weren't a bad price really for what it was as well. But the reason it was cheap, we think there's a little bit of tomfoolery been going on. The site next door were dumping a load of muck. That used to be level with this, not that. This is where they're tipping it all. What a mess. Absolute mess. Pretty sure you're not meant to be doing this. And we'll put up, we should have an analysis on exactly how much it is now, because we've had a lot of surveys done before and after. Yeah, they've just dumped a load of muck, everything they were digging out to do their foundations and drainage, they just tipped it all on our land here, and the council did absolutely nothing about it. So, but there were some tactics involved there, and we got in front of them, and yeah, we bought the land anyway. So this is kind of mine and Scott's pension plan, I think. Rather than putting money into stocks and shares and bitcoins, we're going to try and build something tangible for the future. Big massive B there. All about being biodiverse at the minute. So yeah, I think we're probably, what we knew 2 years ago and what we know now, I'd say we bit off more than we could chew. It took a long time to just send the money to the council because of all the stuff. The pond at the back there, that's causing us a lot of back and forth, a lot of trouble, falling out with people when we should probably just be pushing forward. Yeah, a lot of troubles. We're not going to be moving Darkside to here at all. Whether we keep a unit here to put some of our crap in, I'm not sure. I'd rather not. They're probably just going to be renters, so we should have a rough idea of what we're going to be building by the time this video goes out. I think it's going to be probably 24, 25, 2,000 square foot units. But then that could be, if somebody wanted a 10,000 square foot unit, we'd just not build the walls, or what, I don't know the best way of doing it just yet, but the planning application is going to be probably that. So it's not going to be cheap to build it, so we're going to be borrowing everything money-wise that we can to build it, but it's going to be totally separate to Darkside. That's why I think we've just been discussing it briefly. But if you watch the previous sort of non-race, non-workshop related video, which will be talking about what we've started and what we're going to be doing in the future, yeah, have a watch of that, have a watch of this, and any comments, any questions, stick them in comments. Ask us whatever you want to ask us. Worst case, we'll just ignore your question, or best case, we'll answer it. This video is coming from the future. I realised now we're happy we are to explain some things. We're interjecting into that video to explain things a little bit better than we could in a field. So the planning application process, from talking to all these different architects and planning consultants and all this sort of thing, which these two buildings that we're in now, we never got any architects involved. We just did a drawing, said we're going to do this, they accepted it after a long period of time, and away we went. But every time you talk to council, your architect will know that, your planning consultant will know that, which these people don't come cheap, because from talking to other people, not the ones that we've been talking to recently, but previously, they want a percentage of how much this is worth afterwards, which the council are already going to get a percentage of that. Everybody gets a percentage. It's not hard, it should be done if you ask me, but that's how they do it. Some they win, some they lose, I suppose. So anyway, the process is very complicated now. It's got even worse in 2024 with the biodiversity stuff, which I rant on about in a bit, so we'll not really go over that too much. But this list here, which whether we're looking at, I sort of half look at it, but Adam will put it on if it looks better on the computer. But if you look here, this is what the council have asked us to do, and then this is some sort of little brief description, and then this at the top here, that's the ultimate thing everybody's looking at, is how much it's going to cost. We've not paid this yet, but this is how much it's going to cost to get to the stage where we can put a planning application in. Now the council are probably going to want that again. Probably, I don't know how much it's going to be exactly, but it's going to probably nearly be 6 figures for the council for the application. Maybe we'll correct that. I need to ask Scott, but he's lifting weights at the minute. But this is how much it's going to cost to the plan. So 85 grand we've got at the minute. Some of these are slightly estimated, but on the low side rather than the high side. But this is how many different things they want. Pre-application advice, and then they come back with this. So they want the topographical survey, which you need anyway. They wanted a tree survey. The guy said that we needed to move the site 10 metres in and give a buffer around the trees. Noise assessment, we've had one of them done, which we had one done here because of the dyno, but we've had that done, 1,500 quid. Habitat and ecology survey, that weren't expensive, but then that goes on to a biodiversity survey, which is probably going to be a couple of grand. eDNA survey, that were for the newts, that were a few hundred quid. We had to do more topographical surveys, which are another grand for the pond. Ground stability, 13 grand in geo-environmental surveys, which is absolutely ridiculous. And that has actually missed out a portion because of some bad advice we got. All the muck that we're going to be digging out, basically, we can spread around and build on it if it's good stuff. They've missed that out, so that 13 grand doesn't include that. Air quality assessment, a couple of grand. Additional stuff for the air quality, that adds another 1,500 quid on. Drainage strategies, that's cost us like £5,500. All the levels, manhole schedules, Yorkshire Water, we've got to discuss with fire services how that's going to impact them for the fire management and stuff like that. So there's a few grand there. Flood risk, that's cost £800. Planning statement, which is £4,000 for doing that. £3,500 for planning consultancy, so these are what the council are asking you to get all the time. Filling in some forms, £450. Negotiations with council after submission, £7,000. Architectural service, or stage 2 is going to be £1,800, which we've probably nearly done that already anyway. Stage 3, £7,800. And then there's a few other little bit going to do a design and access report, location plan, site layouts, all that, context drawings, which that's going to be £1,500. They might want a 3D visualisation, which will cost another couple of grand, which that's not on that total. The electrical plans for Northern Power Grid, they're going to cost probably £11,000, which sounds ridiculous. Some of this stuff we're definitely going to do ourselves, by the way. Landscape proposals, £1,800. Transport and assessment statement, still not 100% on that one, £1,600. Renewable strategy, that's going to probably cost £1,000. They want us to be demonstrated with 20% of what we're doing is low carbon, which how low carbon can concrete be? I don't know. We're going to have to put solar panels on here, which are going to probably cost £100,000 by the time site's done. It's going to probably cost £500-600 for somebody just to work that out. Travel plan, which is going to be where people are going from and to, which we don't know because we're renting them out, but that's going to cost £1,000. A few other bits, water storage waste, parking plan, which we've got to have 10% electric charging points, which this site is going to have 200 parking spaces. We're going to have 20 electric parking spots. They're going to probably cost £80,000 to put in. Statement of community involvement. So we've basically got to talk about what we're doing in the local area. And then the other one, which is an absolute job creation, health impact assessment. So we've got to say, because we're in a deprived area, which where we are now, Grindford, where that site is, South Kirby, their deprived area is going to make sure that it's not going to impact the health of anybody. Which, fair enough, if you're building a nuclear power station, I'd expect that, but we're trying to bring work to that area. Construction management plan, which we shouldn't really need that till after, but the one up front, that's £1,200. And then obviously the last thing, submission of the application. Like I said, they might even want a six-figure sum just for that. So a site like this would probably, to get it to plan, it'd probably normally cost you £10,000 in architectural fees, and he'd make £9,000 out of that because he spent a few days drawing it and just put it in and away you go. There's £85,000 at the minute. So that is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to rant on much more because it's already ranting. I've ranted a lot after, so you'll see. But yeah, very annoying how much it's costing. I don't think people understand how hard this is, and we're probably 12 months in to talking to the planners at the minute, and we're still not anywhere close to getting it. So it's a bit crazy if you ask me. It's definitely more difficult than it should be, and I don't think I'm repeating myself in saying this, but we're not building this out of selfish reasons, don't get me wrong. We're going to earn money out of it over a long period of time, but there's definitely better ways of spending what could potentially be millions of pounds in a local area. We don't even have to spend it in the local area, we could earn more money than this quickly. So anyway, rant over. Hopefully the local councillors get sent this video and they're going to say, you're helping our area, let's get cracking and build this and stop coming up with all these roadblocks. But we'll see. Let's see what happens anyway. Probably making this video will have a negative impact, but I'm not bothered anyway. I'm bloody sick of all this stuff so far. Anyway, rant, slightly over. See the next rant. The other thing to note, all these big units here, these were all built by Marshalls, which is probably one of the biggest building companies in the country, and sold by them as well, built and sold by them. That's what I believe anyway. And all of these, plus some others that are probably not already built down here, I imagine. Bit of land left over. All of these were part funded, and by part it's a big part, like 30, 40, 50% in some instances, by the government. Some of it were EU money, some of it were just out of our pocket. So make of that what you will. There's none available for us apparently, unless you know otherwise. So if you've got access to funding, get some for us. That's why these multi-billion-pound companies getting funding to do this sort of stuff, and we're getting no but hassle. You tell me. You can see project part funded. Northern Trust, look at who they are. They own a lot of stuff. Obviously, anybody that's done any building work, it's just the same as if you know absolutely nothing about cars, you can get your leg lifted a little bit, which we nearly have a few times already. So we'll put a list on screen of things that we could do help with, and if you're a customer of ours, you've got a relationship with us already and we're just forgetting that this is what you do and you can help us, please drop us an email. Don't just put it in comments and whatever, send an email with what you can do and we can send back some plans of it and give us a price. We don't want anything for free, but just working with like-minded people is a big thing, and that's why I like the racing side of things is good. We have met a few people that have helped us with this, and yeah, so far we're doing all right with it, but yeah, I would love to be a bit further on than we are. And if you're wanting a unit, probably, we sort of estimated, I think summer next year is going to be when we start to, we can't do it all in one go anyway, so we're going to have to sort of phase the development. So yeah, summer next year I think we should be sorted. We did have somebody who wanted to have a unit if we'd have it ready like September, October this year, but things have gone so far, it's just nothing happens fast. Glaciers move faster than local authorities. So yeah, I'm sure I've missed something out of this video that I should have said, but as usual I don't script anything and most of it come out of my head as I started talking.
In
my mind. So yeah, we're not moving Darkside, but obviously if you watch the previous video you'll see that Darkside is evolving into something else, hopefully better. We're having the best month on month, not just money wise, just happiness I think internally. The videos, Adam's probably struggling to make a good video out of the stuff that we're filming sometimes just because everybody's that busy just doing work. So we do apologise, we are not an entertainment channel, although sometimes we might entertain you. So yeah, I think this probably caps off the why am I not on as many videos, and probably why am I going to be growing greyer and balder and my hair's I'm spending more time doing my hair at the beginning of videos because this is why, but it's all the grand plan for 20, 30, 40 years time to not be at the mercy of the government. I think that's probably, even though we are at the minute, when we're 80 and decrepit, we're not hoping that 50 pence a week state pension, as long as you have your MAGA jabs, gets paid to you. So yeah, that is that. I'm sure Adam's read it loads of what I've said out because he always goes politically correct, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, so I think the last sort of thing is, does anybody want to see us filming any of the crap that's going on here when it starts? I don't know. At the minute, it's very boring what's happening. It looks horrible because a company's come out and done some tests and yeah, they've had some machinery on here and done what they've done. And the big thing, the real big thing, which is not on the list of things we need help with, but we probably should have got some help with, it's the biodiversity stuff. I'll put some links in this one for people to look at. Just have a look at what the government's got planned with that and how it's going to be. It contradicts a lot of things. You know, they're saying that they want to level up in the north of the UK. That's why they're going to do HS2, which they've scrapped it anyway. It only goes as north as Birmingham. It completely contradicts all that stuff. It's ridiculous, really, if you look into it. Yeah, if you're still here at this point anyway, I can talk about it because Adam can leave whatever in there. I could start saying whatever I want and nobody's listening. But, sorry, Adam. But yeah, basically, we've had people come and look at and they've looked at this moss. This is amazing moss. This little plant here, if I kill that, it's going to cause like equilibrium at wilted. But basically, this land used to be a pit yard, and then it got remediated, and then the guys at the council used it for what they were doing. But then, because it's been left for probably 5, 6, 7 years, there's stuff growing on here that, according to these eco warriors or whatever you want to call them, these biodiversity people, doesn't grow anywhere else. But it doesn't grow anywhere else because it's crap. It shouldn't grow anywhere. It's just crap stuff. But you've got boxes to tick. But the amount of money, I'd have to look at the exact numbers, and maybe we'll put them on screen if I'm out there. But it was something like it could cost us anything from 60 grand up to 3 million quid just to build on here, and that's just that you have to pay for then somebody else to buy land and offset what you've damaged by building here. But this has been sold to us as building land, so it kind of makes no sense to me. It's all contradictory, and I've no objections whatsoever to if you knock down 1,000 trees to then having to plant 1,000 more. But what they're saying, you've got a 10% gain on top of what's already there, and what they're looking at and saying is already there. Like when you're buying a piece of land that looks like there's nothing here, you know what I mean? There's no rare oak tree, you know what I mean? It's not the sycamore gap tree down wherever it is, on wherever that is. So you're buying it off the council at what looks like an attractive price, and then they're just sticking with all these things that then are going to these non-governmental organisations. That what the heck are they doing with this money? And basically, when I talked to one of the guys here, I said, so basically if we went and bought a farmer's field that is growing corn or wheat or barley, or even if you forget about what we're eating, you know, growing oilseed rape to produce ethanol or wherever they produce ethanol from, I'm sure it's something like that, then we'd be better buying that and dumping this muck on there and letting this crap grow again. But then you're taking out of the sort of ecosystem in another way. And I don't think anybody actually understands how it's all going to work. It's all compartmentalised people saying we'll make the world better if nobody ever builds. But then are them same people going to stop breathing and stop eating and stop drinking because that's all bad for the environment? No, I don't think they are they? And are they going to stop breeding? No, they're not. So anyway, that's a little rant about the whole conspiratorial side of things, but it's happening. I think Agenda 2030 they call it, but then it's gone to Adapt 2030, and have a look in notes. I'll put some stuff in there. None of it's conspiracy stuff, it's government stuff that all these councils all over the country have signed up for. So a bit daft really. But anyway, rant over. Hopefully you enjoyed the rest of this video. Let us know if you want to see some other stuff.